I am Chris. Welcome to my basement gym. This is Stretch and Relax for Collins Aerospace Rec Center. So I hope you enjoyed today's class. We're going to be using block and a strap today. And again, if you don't have a block or a strap, feel free to grab some pillows. You can use a bath towel to help you instead of a strap, or maybe just grab a belt or grab the tie off of a bathrobe. Whatever might work for you. We'll always try and find options for you so that way it makes it doable, easy, something that you can do at home and not feel stressed out about not having exactly what you need. So let's just start by just relaxing. It's kind of the key point of Stretch and Relax. Let's get the brain just to unwind and let go of all those external thoughts. Feet in a comfortable position. I have my shoes off today. I feel comfy and warm. If you're feeling a little cool, leave your shoes or socks on. It's no big deal. Just have yourself in comfy clothes, comfy foot position, and just let your body weight sway forward and back gently. I'm not picking up my feet. It's not a big, huge rock. It's just weight becomes a little heavier in my toes and then a little heavier in my heels. Just let that weight gently shift until we get to where we're in our heels, and then pause. Let 60% of your body weight be in your heels, 40% be in the toes. So the heels are a smidgen heavier, but your big toes are Velcro down, okay? Let the arches of your feet raise up. Pretend like you got little strings on them. You're just engaging the muscles of the base of the feet to help lift those arches. In turn, we're rotating our thigh bones forward, allowing the inside seam of our stretchy pants, shorts, whatever we're wearing at this time, rotate those seams forward towards me. That's drawing your tailbone underneath you. So instead of the tailbone kind of being pushed back, we're going to take that tailbone and draw it under us. This brings in that light belly activation. So we take that tailbone, pull it under. We're going to pull our belly button gently into our spine. We're not getting hard, rock, tall, soldier standing. It's just gentle activation. Setting up that plumb line, that nice balance of our body weight, front and back, that our spine feels comfortable in. Now, without flaring the ribs, we're pulling the rib towards the hip. We're going to lift our sternum gently up towards our chin and let those shoulders roll back and down. Gently hugging a kindergarten pencil between my shoulder blades. So I'm taking my shoulder blades from this forward rounded position. We tuck that tailbone under. Our belly button pulls in gently. And by lifting our sternum, those shoulders go back and down. So it's not us squeezing and sticking out our chest. It's just a little lift. And just imagine pulling those shoulder blades down and taking that kindergarten pencil and just holding it gently between the shoulder blades. Allow the ears to be over the shoulders. Again, if we lift our sternum up, it does tend to bring our chin back. So we have that nice plumb line going from here to here. Every time I do this, it feels strange because I do get stuck at work and I'm focusing more on what I'm doing and not how I'm feeling. And when we set this up, if you're like me, it feels weird. You feel tight in the chest. The lower back feels different. Your belly feels different. It's a muscle memory that needs to be worked on to help have great balance. A little less stress on the shoulders, a little less stress on the low back. So it's a constant work. So when I have a moment while I'm at work, I'll do a little check-in. If I'm even just sitting, I'll say, okay, where am I at? Am I slumping too much? As soon as I reset myself, even in a seated position, my neck feels so much better, my shoulders feel so much better. I feel calmer, a little less stressed. Give yourself that moment every day where you just take a check and go, okay, how am I feeling? Reset yourself. Find this posture. Let's breathe. Inhale fully through the nose. Make the belly raise. Make the ribs expand. Front, back, side to side. And exhale. If you have trouble getting that breath to go deep into the belly, feel free to place your hands on your belly. Stack pinky to thumb, and as we inhale, make that pinky and thumb separate. Exhale. Sometimes we need to actually touch that body part to get the mind to be able to talk to that muscle. And breathing is a muscle. Excuse me. So let that breath help unwind you. Let that breath help release the stress and anxiety, whether it's good or bad. And let's just put it aside. For this time we have together, just be nothing. Be neutral. Don't think. Just let go. Let's inhale, bringing our hands overhead. Your hands can be together or interlacing the fingers. It's whatever feels good for you. And let's press the hips out towards the left, reaching to the right. And center. And exhale, pressing to the hips to the right, reaching to our left, center. And then swan dive to a forward fold. Hands come just above the knees. And then round one vertebrae at a time to come up. Let's do that again. Inhale. Press and reach. Press and reach. And swan dive. Maybe your dive is a little lower. And then round up one vertebrae at a time. Again, big inhale. Reach. And forward fold. Rounding up. Inhale, lift. Reaching to the right. Center, reaching to the left. And center. Forward fold. And round up. 2 more times. Using this to warm up our body, get the blood moving, increasing our core temperature. Makes stretching so much easier. And raise one last time. Lift and reach. And forward fold. And round up. Good. Squeezing that kindergarten pencil between our shoulder blade. Good. Now, round over. Pull the belly button through. And then lift. Open through the chest. Hands come behind. Interlacing the fingertips if you can. If you cannot, make fists. And just squeeze. And think about lifting the sternum a little higher. And release. One more time. Round towards me. Big round back. And now open. Lift the sternum. And make a fist. Shoulders down. Notice I'm not flaring the ribs. So lift the sternum. So lift that sternum to the nose. One more time. That felt good. Round forward. And now open. Fingertips together or make fists. Sternum lifts, ribs pull down. And release. Good. Finding our balance in our right leg. Let's just take our left leg. We're going to lift it up and over an imaginary box, okay? So just lift it up and over, opening through the hip. Let's do 3 more. There's 2. 1. I'm done. Changing sides. Lifting the foot up and over that imaginary box. Don't try and crank the leg back and rotate through the waist. Keep the belly button facing forward as we do this. So there's no goal of how far you can turn your hip open. It's just do it. Have it feel good. 1 more. Good. Now make the feet just a little wider and stagger the feet. Just give yourself a little bit of balance. As you raise up onto the ball of each foot and lower down. Feet are apart. Good. When we do this, try to stay in the ball of each foot. 1 more. Try not to roll out in those pinky toes. Feet apart and switch. We're going to do 5 again. There's 5, 4, because each side might feel a little different. 3. Notice I'm not rolling out in the ankles. 1 more. Woohoo! I fell on that one. Good job. Let's bring our feet back in. Hands coming to heart center. All I'd love for us to do is push the hips back. Bend the knees, hinging at the hip joint. Pause right here. Our weight is equal. It's in the toes as well as the heels. Our knees feel good because we're not loading in the knees. We're not loading in the front and our toes. I'm a little heavier in my heels in my chair pose. Good. Keeping this, let's rotate towards the right. Tipping the elbow down and angling the other elbow up. Notice the position of my thumbs is right here, not outside. Pushing our hands together, come center, and rotating. Breathe. Pull the belly muscles in, big toes anchored down, and center, and lift up through the middle, and open. Let's do that 1 more time. Chair pose. Sit back into the heels. Heels lead it. Come comfortable for you. Belly is braced. And rotate towards the right. Again, thumb position. Right on that sternum. And center. And rotate. Good. Hands on our thighs. Let's just lift out. Let's grab our blocks. If you don't have a block, the pillow may not be of much help, so I do apologize. Maybe use a chair or a wall. A wall would be just fine. I'll show you that option as well. We're going to be doing some forward fold with some rotations using our block. Okay? So taking the block, lay it at the highest edge for you. Let's take a big inhale. We're going to work on that spinal mobility. And coming to our block. Now again, if you don't have your block, feel free to take your chair. And this is where you would be as we come into a rotation. Chair's not handy. You can always use the wall. The wall can help give you that support so you don't feel like you're going to fall on your face. So within our forward fold, let's push the left hand firmly into our block, and we're going to point to the right. Stay right here, but we're just pressing through the block, rotating. Notice I'm not yanking my arm around. I'm going to bend my left knee generously. My arm doesn't reach behind me. It's just a gauge of how much rotation. It's a measurement. Let it be the measurement and not the one that leads the rotation. The rotation is led through here, okay? Keep it right in here. Good. Breathe. Taking that extended arm, bringing the hand behind the head, open up the elbow. Breathe. And extend it out and returning to our block. Let's do a little cat curl and flatten out the back. And then returning to our focus, hand on the block, right hand on the block, right knee bends as we point towards the left. And now pushing through the block, allow that right knee to bend a bunch. And again, remembering that this arm is not the lead. It is led through our torso. This arm is just showing us how much rotation we're getting out of this movement. Let's breathe into our lungs, breathe into the belly, breathe into the spine. And now taking our extended arm behind our head, opening up the elbow. And extending out and returning to our block. Good, let's round up one vertebrae at a time. And open up to a T, palms up. Let's take our right palm and turn the right palm down. And now reversing. We're going to turn the right palm up, left palm down. And switch. How far can we rotate through our forearms? Switch and rotate. Can we get our pinky up to the ceiling? Can we get our thumb more pointing downward? And rotate. Sternum stays lifted. We're hugging that kindergarten pencil between our shoulder blades. Good. Let's bring both palms back up. Hands behind our head, open up through the elbows. And then take the elbows, round and close. Now, lifting our sternum, open up through the shoulders, squeezing our shoulder blades together, and then pull through and round. One last time, open. Stay here and casting the arms out. Sternum stays lifted as we come through the middle. Open like a book and casting our arms out. And open and cast one more time. Open and cast. Good. Hopefully those shoulders feel nice and warmed up. I feel a little bit more limber. That's my biggest goal, is keep our shoulders healthy, mobile, strong, and stable. Let's go ahead and have a seat. Not sitting on our blocks just yet. We will use those eventually. What I love it is if we just had a seat, legs out front, comfortable. Now, if this causes strain on your low back, maybe not sitting on the block, but actually maybe just sitting on a pillow, because I don't want to give too much elevation to our hips, but just that much elevation can kind of help give a little relief if we're a little tight in our hamstrings, maybe a little tight in our low back, so then we're not sitting like this. We're actually able to be lifted. If you are elevating your hips, be aware we don't want to allow our knees to sink down, so make sure we have that soft bend in the knees. From here, let's take our right leg and just cross it over. Feet are flexed, toes pointed to the ceilings, our fingertips by our sides. I want us to engage the back side of our left leg into the floor as we take our fingers, just slowly walk them forward. Not rounding quite yet. I'm staying lifted. And my hinge is down here. So try to avoid doing this just yet. I promise we'll get there. For now, I would love it if we're right here. Gently pressing the back side of our leg into the floor, feeling that blossom of a wonderful stretch. Beautiful. Good. Lifting out, we're going to uncross our legs and bring the sole of our foot to the inside of our leg. Now, it can be down here, it can be up here. Find what's comfortable for you, but don't let this leg turn out. We want to keep that toe towards the ceiling. And just sitting nice and tall, bounce our knee. We're going to get our leg and our hips to forget they're tight. And now taking the fingertips, walking forward. Again, this time, we're going to allow ourselves to drape over. So coming into that roundness. Let's lift out of the roundness and stay in a forward fold. And one more time, let's bounce. Foot flexed. Good, sitting up nice and tall. Don't help this leg, we're just going to let it extend out. Comfortable distance apart for us. We're not trying to crank our legs open, and we're still facing forward, and we're just going to walk our fingertips out towards our big toe. No rounding, but hinging. We will round, I promise. Inhale, and as we exhale, here's where we just round and drape over our leg. Again, the back of the leg is active into the floor. And then walking our fingertips back up. Let's center ourselves between the legs and then walking out. It's okay to round. And walking ourselves back in. Bring our legs together. We'll do the same thing for the other side. So let's take our left leg over our right leg. Feet are flexed, toes pointed up. The right leg is active into the floor. Hinging at that hip joint. Let's walk forward till we feel that delicious tension in the back side of our right leg. Breathe. Let the shoulders relax out of your ears. And coming out of the fold as we bring our left leg in. Comfortable distance for us. Again, back of the leg is active in the floor. Let's balance that knee, getting it to forget that it's tight. Good. And then fingertip walk forward with a hinge. And now allowing ourselves just to drape over that leg. A little bounce if you like. And then walking ourselves back up. And then again, let's open this leg, allow it to come the distance that it naturally just wants to unwind to. Maybe it's not as wide as what you typically pull yourself to. That's what we need right now. Walking ourselves out. This is our hinge. Inhale, and as we exhale, here's where we drape around over, laying across the thigh. Right leg is active into the ground. And now lifting out, and then this time hinging as we come to the middle. Before we round it, this time let's hinge. And then lifting ourselves back up. you'd like, go ahead and get yourself into a comfortable wide position. Maybe what you naturally opened up to is what you have, and that is fine. Sitting up nice and tall, backs of the legs are active into the floor. Again, if your hips are elevated, make sure your knees are soft or have a soft bend in them. Toes are flexed. As we walk ourselves forward one more time in a hinge. And now draping over. Allow the head to hang from the shoulders. Maybe shaking the head side to side as if saying no. And nodding as if saying yes. Yes to releasing all the tension. Yes to releasing all the stress. And yes to folding even a little bit deeper. Let's walk ourselves back up to a seated position. We'll slide our feet together and have a lie. Using support, let's uncurl ourselves one vertebrae at a time down onto our mats. As we get closer, we slide the feet in and uncurl the spine all the way down. Good. Let's press the feet through the floor. Just push the feet. Don't think about anything else. When we push the feet, we feel our tailbone becoming lighter in contact with the floor. I want us to push a little firmer with our feet and curl that tailbone off of the floor. And pushing a little bit more as we bridge up, one vertebrae at a time. Constantly think about what are our feet doing. Let the feet press. Good. And now starting at the top of our spine, let it drape down just a little. Feet still pushing hard. And then droop the next 3 or 4 vertebrae down. Pause. Our tailbone is still curved up towards our nose. And then let a couple more fall. Pause. Our tushy isn't quite touching just yet. And then uncurl, let everything else fall. Good. Let's do that again. Let's start with just the breakdown. What are our feet doing? Let's spread those toes apart and just push the feet into the floor. Suddenly we feel a little bit more lighter. Our glutes aren't as grounded. And now push a little more. And let's turn that tailbone up towards our nose, a little pelvic tilt. Now our glutes lift. Now push the feet harder into the floor, causing our hips to raise, causing our spine to lift till we get right between the shoulder blades. Pause right there. Breathe. All 4 corners of our feet are anchored. They feel stable. Now, just a couple vertebrae right between the shoulder blades. Let them sag down. Everything else is up. And then slowly work down just a couple more, 2 or 3 more. Let them sag. Let our tailbone is still lifted. And let a couple more down. Our lower back may be touching, but our glutes are still lifted. And then finally, we uncurl the rest down. Good. Let's bring in our right knee, give it a little hug, and our left knee, giving a little hug. Rock and roll side to side, little back massage. And let's paint a circle with our knees. Whatever direction you want to go first, we're going to do 5 circles. And then we'll pause and change directions. Let's pause here and switch. Three, two, one. So let our feet down. I'm going to scoot down just a wee bit. Never mind me. There. Now I feel a bit more in frame with you. Let's take the feet wide, putting them on the outside edges of our mat. Let the upper body just relax. If you want, even put your arms out like a letter T. They could be by your side, whatever feels good for you. Maybe resting on your belly. I would like us just to kind of windshield wiper those knees back and forth. But keep the hips down on the ground. Don't windshield wiper so much that you have to lift your gluteals. Just let the knee fall in, let the knee open. Let the knee fall in, and the other knee open. Kind of pay attention. Looking at our knees. Maybe one side drops lower into the windshield wiper while the hip stays down compared to the other side. For me, it is letting my knees drop towards the wall that I feel the most resistance compared to falling towards you. It feels easier. And I know this just from paying attention, listening to my body, watching the visual cues like my knees, or with the rotations, watching my arm as it comes around. It's just letting me know that, yeah, maybe a little bit tighter on that one side. Maybe I need to give it a little bit more love. We always want to try and make whatever side is a little weaker, a little tighter to match our better side, our stronger side, our more stable side. We can't always achieve perfect, but we can pay attention to that imbalance and work towards it. Let's pause with the knees coming towards me. Just let them fall. If the hip just lifts a little bit, that's okay, but don't force the knee down, bringing the hip and the ribs up. Let's keep the backside of our ribs engaged into the floor. Paying more attention to the ribs being anchored compared to the hip. So the hip may just lift a tiny bit, or maybe just a smidgen. That's okay. Again, arms wherever you want for comfort, it's okay. Let the breath go to the hips. Allow gravity for the inside knee to bring it down. Now, if you'd like a little bit more, take your foot, cross it over that knee. Let the weight of that leg draw it down. If it does and your hip pops up a little bit, that's okay, as long as the ribs are grounded. But if you start arcing the ribs up like this, that might be too much. Either just get a little support or take it totally off. Me, I give it just a little support, so I've got some weight on that inside knee to help draw the knee across more, but I'm not letting my ribs lift. You can always take your block and prop it under. Give it a little bit of oomph, a little bit of help. We won't be here much longer. We're just getting a little bit more of a stretch for that hip. Inhaling. Let's exhale. We're going to take the knees and just 2 times windshield wiper those knees back and forth. And this time, let's take the knees away from each other. I'm going to take my knees to the back of the room. Pausing here, allowing the breath go to the tension. Now, if we like, we can take the knee, lift our foot, place it on the knee, and you'll be able to see it much better here. If I do this, you can see how it's making my ribs lift. don't want my ribs to lift. I need my ribs to be down here. And again, this is my tighter side. So let's put a little bit more strain on that knee. So again, I'm going to give myself a little bit of support. Focus on the stretch within the hip. Or I can always take that block and just kind of wedge it underneath. Kind of give myself a little bit of support. And you can change the height of that wedge. Again, we don't want this arching. We want the ribs drawn down. Good. Inhale. Exhaling. Let's remove our foot. Bringing our knees back to center. So that was great for our hips and our lower back. We're going to creep up the spine and do some book openings. So roll over towards me. And if you like, grab a pillow or grab your block. You see it underneath your ear. We're going to bend our legs till our knees are the same height as our hips. And our feet are underneath our ankles. So we look like this. We also want to imagine that both knees are touching an imaginary wall right in front of us. When we do our rotation, we don't want to allow that top knee to drift back because then it becomes lower back. We want to make it from the ribs up. So keep the hips stacked one on top of the other and then check the knees. Make sure both knees are stacked. That top knee isn't drifting back away from that imaginary wall. Let's extending our arms out, making a little hand sandwich. As we inhale, let's point to the ceiling. As we exhale, allow the back of the shoulder to lead the movement. There we go. And opening up our chest to the ceiling. Take a break, stop, take a look at the knees. Because again, we don't want this. Reach the knee forward. And for me, right here, this is where I feel a wonderful tension within my thoracic spine. And that's not a huge rotation. We will do this a couple times so we can see the benefit of our rotation. Oh, like gravity, pull the shoulder around. The bottom arm, reach it out long. Double check the knees, make sure we're not drifting back. Our hips are stacked. And from here, just make kind of a half snow angel, right in midair. Now like the arms of a clock, draw down, sweep across the hips, extend past our fingertips, past our ears, and rotate open. One more time. Drop down, reach, extend, and open. Good. Let's close our book. And normally I would just switch over to do the other side. I'll ask you to do the same, but I want to make sure that you can see me. So I'm just going to trade ends. Got my block for my pillow. And then again, bringing my knees up to the same height as my hips. Feet are underneath the knees. Hips are stacked and we've got our imaginary wall in front of us. We'll stack the shoulders, hand sandwich, and then extend that hand out and point to the ceiling. Now allow the back of the shoulder, not the arm, to lead. Let the shoulder fall back. We see our knees, make sure the knees don't drop back. Reach the top knee forward. Reach the bottom hand out. Good. Feel that tension blossoming within our spine. Take a big breath. Exhale out. Reaching the bottom arm towards me. Deepening the rotation. Again, double checking our knees and our hips that they are stacked. And just make a little snow angel in midair here. Good. Let's draw the arm down like the arm of a clock across our thigh. Reaching out past our fingertips. Reaching out, sweeping past our ear. And opening up again. One more time. Sweeping down past our thigh. Over the fingertips. Around the ear. Opening up. And pause. Let's close our book. Good. We'll remove the block, coming onto our back sides as we come into a final relaxation. Let's bring the knees into the chest one more time, cradle rocking. Knees high up on our chest. And allow the rock to fall away. And then draw in and release. And extending our legs out. Let's flex our feet. Arms overhead, thumbs to the ground. Allow the ribs to flare right now. And now, pull the ribs down. Bring the arms to goalposts. Let's bring them flat, or excuse me, elbows on the ground, thumb or fingertips to the ceiling, and then flat to the ceiling, and then flat. One more time. Let our arms come to a comfortable position for us as we bring our focus to our breathing. Inhaling fully and exhale. I hope you feel better. I hope you feel more stretched. Hope you feel a bit calmer. Remembering always, we may not be able to control what goes on around us, but we have control of our reaction to it. Use the breath, use calmness, step away. You give yourself that permission. We are done for the day. I hope you enjoyed this. Feel free to stay in your relaxed position for as long as you like. Maybe you have your own quiet music going in the background at home. So remember, take care of yourself. Have a great day.